Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to TRS Live with your hosts Brian Keller, Matt Trotz, and Zach Huffman, presented by The Real Shot.
I'ma do this here forever.
EQ.
Forever.
Triune.
Forever.
Yeah.
Forever. I'ma do this here forever.
Let's go.
All you haters better get comfy. This the day you've been waiting on. Y'all road is finna get bumpy.
Yes.
It's the track I'm making my statement on. I ain't going nowhere. This the place that I'm making home. I'll do this shit forever. Hit the gas and I'm taking off. Ow. I was born with passion. My job is never ending and my hustle's everlasting. No matter what, I'm gon' ball, even with my back to the wall. And the best part is that this is the beginning. I'ma do this here forever. Forever.
No.
Yeah, you should wear it.
No.
Yeah.
No.
All right, what is up, everybody? Welcome to the show. Today is Wednesday,
Woo,
episode, 7 now?
Mike.
Oh, episode 7. We've got a lot of cool stuff here today. We've got the Ravin R26 showed up, I think, yesterday, and we discovered that this morning. So we're going to go ahead and talk about that a little bit today. We've also got another guest calling in again. It's going to be TJ from last week. He's going to be telling us a little bit about MLF and I think the Bassmaster this week,
the Elite
too.
Series event on St. John's River.
Awesome. So
I think he's actually going to be on the water when he calls in.
Awesome.
He's actually going to be live on the water, so hopefully he's got good cell coverage.
We can only hope.
Right.
And then yesterday we went out on the road, about 150 miles to travel.
150 miles we put on, looking at boat landings and
Nice.
checking out the lake and talking to people around the lake. And
To me, it was pretty eye-opening. I mean, first of all, it was really eye-opening that the difference in the conditions between a public and a private landing, which is
we'll
which
get
is
into that
obviously
for sure. Yep.
pretty common sense. But I can't wait to talk about that.
Awesome.
Cool. A lot of people joining in. Thanks for joining in already.
Good morning, everybody.
Yeah, good morning. Good morning, Larry. I think he said good morning to us.
Oh yeah, Larry, Tony, Ryan, he's there.
Russell.
Hey Russell.
Awesome. Well, what do we want to start with?
Let's just talk about it. It's
It's
right
just
here.
right here.
So let's just talk
He's
about
been
the elephant
twitchy.
in the room, or is
he's
it
been
a...
twitching
Yeah.
since he got here. He's like, oh
Let's
my
talk
God,
about the Raven in the
showed
room.
up.
No,
The
seriously
Raven
though,
showed up.
I went up front today.
I mean, this is it's not even like a bump stock on this thing. That's the full size of the bull.
I should run up front and grab the original R9 and bring it up here, like
Do
Lance
it.
suggested.
Do it. You should go get it.
Because it's mind blowing.
You should start listening to Lance.
Pardon.
You should start listening to Lance. See, now that Matt's not on here, I can go off on him.
You can bash me as much as you want.
Right. So while we're waiting for Matt to run up front and get the R9 that he should have.
Well, I feel like the
got
R20
right.
wasn't the R29 the same size as the R9? It's just
No.
a new one? No, really, it's not.
It's even even bigger yet. The R9 is
really?
even bigger than this one.
Really?
I mean, it's just crazy.
That's
And
ridiculous.
This when we first got started in the crossbows, 2015 or whatever it was, 2014, 2015. This was the size, Zach, of a cocked crossbow.
Right. Oh,
This
I know.
might even be smaller than the cocked.
I think it is.
Crossbow at the time.
I think it is.
It's just crazy. It's just awesome. I mean, I remember hunting out of a ground blind with my son and thinking, okay, I got to make sure I got enough clearance so when this thing expands, if I shoot, I don't hit the edges of the blind, throwing my shot off, making a bunch of noise,
Right.
whatever. I mean, it's insane. That's crazy. That's crazy.
Definitely. I know it was really impressive when we showed up at ATA, and that was the first thing we really keyed into is when we walked by the Raven booth and we saw that R26,
Right.
and we didn't really know that it was going to be there. And
Well,
I think,
nobody knew. Everybody went
that
to
was-
ATA kind of like, what's going to be the new big thing
Right.
this year? And I think everybody was kind of looking at Raven like, what did you do? You know
Right.
what I mean? Like, because they've been the guys the last few years that have come out with this revolutionary stuff. You can decock it. Obviously, the smaller form factor.
Right.
So everyone was kind of looking at them as the revolutionary type brand. And what
Right.
did Raven do? What did Raven do? Well, here you can see it. So hopefully he comes. Here he comes.
Here he
Are they all
is.
gone?
Yeah. Every single.
How much bigger was it than the 29 here?
I think it was like 34 inches.
Okay.
And what's the 29? 29 inches?
Yes.
Okay. That's just awesome.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, look at this thing.
I would love to grab one, but they're all sold out.
But look at this. I mean, that is
Well,
just one piece of. I mean, you could talk a little more intelligently about the ins and outs of it than I
so 400 feet per second. I don't know if you covered that already.
can. No, we didn't. We just kind of talked randomly about.
So
what we were talking about is that when we went to ATA, everybody was kind of looking to Raven, like, what did you do? What did you do to one up yourself?
Yep.
Which I think that's a great position for Raven to be in, obviously.
Right. And they did it. I mean,
look at that thing.
Like I kind of covered it before. We had spoke about it, I think, in one of the earlier shows. But like, how do you make a Raven better? You just make it a little bit smaller. Now, granted, it's not gonna be for everybody. So the R20 and the R10 are still in existence.
Right.
You know, for those guys that like that little longer profile at that little cheaper price range, because these do come with the tag. I mean,
absolutely. Yep.
The price tag is a little more expensive on these bows, but first thing I thought of this morning once I saw this bow again is that's my turkey hunt machine right there.
Oh, that's just,
I mean, you think about carrying a 12 gauge shotgun that's, you know, a little bit longer in profile. This thing's going to probably do just as much damage.
yeah.
And just be a lot lighter and a lot smaller profile. That's a
Right.
perfect running gun.
The things that have always been a big deal, you know, for me, just from a big picture standpoint, as far as selling crossbows, right?
Yep.
The things that it's always been a big deal is weight,
Yep.
size,
Yep.
and the decocking.
Yeah.
Right? And that's got all three.
All right there.
I mean, that's it.
And by having, you know, you don't think about it, but that 3 inches of difference between these two models, it makes a world of difference, really.
Right.
You know, automatically you grab this one just because in the world of crossbows we're used to a little longer profile, and the R9 or the R29 automatically feels a lot better, a lot more comfortable.
Yep.
But then once you start handling the R26 a lot more, which I think you covered these are in store right now.
Yep.
People can come shoot them and, you know, but buy them by all means. But
And you're going to want to get your hands on them because they're going to run out.
oh
Right.
yeah,
I mean,
I don't know how many.
We ordered a lot,
Yeah.
but we're probably not going to be able to get more than what we ordered.
Well,
Right.
and that's the thing. I mean, everybody wants to get ahead of the game, and
Right.
we're lucky enough we got them in right now. I'm not sure if other places have them in. I'm sure they do. You know,
I'm sure.
But you know, again, like we've talked about before in the past, we're going to get the knowledge, the customer base. You know, so you're looking here, 400 feet per second on the R26. So it didn't change anywhere on your speed ratings. None of the bows are any faster or any slower than the R10 and the R20. Then you get the R29 is their 430 model. You know, the power stroke is a little bit longer on this one. The width is narrower yet on these bows.
Than last year?
Yeah, I believe
Wow.
than last year. Yeah,
That's
I
awesome.
think it was like 10 and 6 last year. I think it's a little more narrow on one of the two models. I mean, they got the tags right on them. I might have to cheat a little bit just because
Right.
I don't remember all the knowledge. But
So the physical weight, somebody was asking, the physical weight of the 29, 6.6 pounds. The R26 is 6 pounds.
oh, okay, so it is the same too. So it's 10 and a half uncocked and then 6 inches at cocked.
Right. 6
so
pounds. I mean, that's the light bow used to be 6.4. That was,
do you remember when the Shadow Ultra
Yeah, that
came
was
out?
a
It was
6.4.
6. Yep.
I'll
and
never forget it. 'cause
Mind blowing.
That was the lightest bow. We
Yep.
sold a pile of them,
Pile.
and it was because of the weight.
Yep.
At the time, you know, it's a heavy bow. You got, and especially bow hunting. You got some guys packing their tree stands like you.
Yep.
Right. You packing the stands, the sticks, all that stuff. I mean, the weight of the bow matters.
It does matter.
It really does.
Yep, and that's where I'm excited too because Zach and I we joined Team Hoyt. You
Oh,
know,
yeah, we
so
did.
we could go on that tangent a little bit, but we're in the carbon revolution, Brian. Maybe you should join us.
I might need to.
You might.
You know, I'll be honest though. The thing that intrigues me the most is, you know, coming from the world of cars where carbon fiber is huge, especially in racing. Nope, I'm not going there. I'm not going there.
It wasn't quite a drink.
We're not
was
going
close.
there.
It wasn't quite.
But the weight difference, you know, when I'm thinking cars and carbon fiber, I'm thinking
Yep.
you can shed 400 or 500 pounds off of a car, right?
For sure.
When you're thinking about a bow, something that you have to hold out with one hand, a lot of pressure on it.
Yep.
If you can shed a pound or two off of that product, that is insane.
It's monstrous.
And those Hoyts, I mean, even with the, you know, I got the Ultra. I don't know what one you went with. but
Just a regular RX3. It was
So-
a decision, though.
yeah. Well, I went with the Ultra because, you know, I'm a tall guy.
Tall guy.
Long draw. I wanted a little bit of a longer bow.
Yep.
And, I mean, those Ultras are they're just weightless. I mean, they're just mind-blowingly weightless.
Yep. So that's pretty cool. So yeah. So we were stoked when we got back from yesterday. We weren't on the
No,
store
I didn't.
much.
No,
at
I didn't
all.
know they were here until right before the show. You're like,
Yeah,
the Ravens are here.
yeah. So they're here.
That's really cool too. I just noticed you can put the quiver on either side. Huh?
Yep.
Oh,
It's
that's
ambidextrous
nice. I like
in the crank, this one doesn't have the crank handle in it, but then like the crank handle goes on the
other
opposite side.
Oh, very nice.
Yep.
Okay.
But I mean, this thing is just so awesome.
It looks pretty sick. I mean, it looks like a zombie killing.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Once the apocalypse
if it was
happens,
an auto
that's what
loader,
you want,
dude, this would be the weapon
That's
of choice.
what you want right there. That's awesome.
So yeah, make sure to stop in. The Ravens are here. And I didn't pay attention, but I don't know. I thought there maybe a Mission is here as well. The Sub 1 XR. I think
that's
gonna
gonna fall if you do that.
All right.
Just saying.
Well, cool. So yeah, Ravens are here. Again, are we doing promo again? Live TRS live.
TRS live every week.
10%.
Very nice. Take advantage of that, guys.
Yeah. Help yourself
That's
out.
awesome.
Help us out.
So I got something cool I was working on this morning. I was writing some code for for Lance on the website, where we are going to be able to now sell all of our reels pre-spooled.
Oh, nice.
So like if you come in the store already and you buy line from us, we got the bulk line. We can pre-spool it.
Yep.
If you're into fishing reels and you know that if it comes spooled from a dealer like us that's got the machinery to put it on as tight as possible or to the proper tension, it just makes a huge difference, right? Trolling reels, it makes a huge difference. Well, especially on a trolling reel, who wants to be sitting there cranking on 600 feet of copper, right? I mean, that stuff gets heavy. But from a baitcaster standpoint, for guys that cast a lot, even on spinning reels, the line's put on correctly, right? Like, if you've ever seen Justin put line on a reel, the dude's a magician.
Yeah, it's
like that's the line's on there tight. It's the way it's supposed to be done, right?
Yep.
Right.
So we're working on the ability of actually selling pre-spooled reels on the website. So what you'd be able to do is basically pick whatever reel you want, pick whatever line you want, whether it be the braid, the mono, the fluorocarbon, whatever. How much line do you want to put on there, and then we'll ship it to you straight off the machine.
So not just Great Lakes.
Nope.
Regular bass.
Yep. Now Russell kind of brought this to us. He was doing this on the Great Lakes side again because with the trolling reels and the big lake stuff, you don't want to. Who wants to be sitting there cranking? I mean, if a guy's got a dozen reels and needs to be respooled, you don't. I mean, you want to feel the burn in the forearm sometime.
Yeah. Right.
Put 600 feet of line on a dozen reels, right? You're going to feel it. Plus, it's very, very difficult to get the tension correct when you're sitting there cranking it yourself.
Yes.
Especially if you do it like 12 reels later and your forearms will just be on fire. I mean, it's crazy. So he brought that concept here. So that's something awesome that he brought here. Well, then, of course, I'm like, well, let's just do it for everything, right? I mean, that's just how we are.
So then I would imagine we're going to be really expanding the bulk line.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, the bulk line isn't going to really expand. We've got our offerings in bulk line. Now, we also will have the ability if somebody has, like, if they want Sunline specifically put on a reel, we can do that for them as well, just like they do in store.
Just because we carry the filler spools and all that kind of stuff. Okay.
So if a guy buys a specific line, he wants it on a specific reel, we can facilitate that.
Yep.
But obviously your line costs are a little more expensive than going with what we have for bulk line.
Right.
But it's pretty cool to be able to offer that through the website as a service, I guess.
So then we're so the braid, we have a number of different braid companies. We have a number of different.
And it'll all be listed out in this drop-down list when you go in there. It's pretty cool. It's
that
not live yet.
Yet,
but that's what I was doing all morning. I was helping Lance write code for the website too.
Oh, sweet.
To get that facilitated. So I thought I'd mention that. It was pretty cool.
Yeah. Yep.
So we got TJ coming on here in a little bit. I think he's actually on the water. He's out fishing with somebody. I don't know who.
And
he's
for
on
those,
the water.
For those who aren't affiliated or don't know what who TJ is, he's our bass.
It's kind of our inside
pro.
He's our inside scoop guy down there.
We talked to him. Was it last week?
Yep.
Last week he was at the MLF.
You'll get her.
Yep.
It'll be
MLF fishing tournament where we spoke about that on Monday, how crazy that finish was and all that kind of stuff.
Now he told me he was in the room with Boyd Duckett, Gary Klein, the guys that built this circuit. He was sitting there watching the stream with these guys. So I'm pretty excited to talk to him later here and get to kind of like, what was that like? I mean, these guys are icons of the sport of bass fishing. I mean, icons, right? Like Boyd Duckett's got his own rods. He's won classics. I mean, the guy, I think he holds the all-time record for most earnings in a single season. Oof. This Boyd Duckett guy. I mean, like these are like icons of the sport, right? So I'm already jealous TJ gets to sit there and rub elbows with these guys, right? Yeah. But to hear them talk about what they were thinking about while this was going on and kind of their brainchild coming to fruition now. I mean, I'm pretty excited to ask him, how that's going, and then talking about the Elite Series coming up on the St. Johns River. Yeah. See what what's shaking there and what the vibe is going into that, because now the background of this is a lot of the Elite Series guys left the Elite Series to go fish the semi-left circuit. the big names.
So you can't cross over?
No, they sign contracts that you're basically you're in one or the other kind of a thing.
Yep.
So it'll be interesting. I mean, the big name guys, Kevin Van Dam's, the Iconellis, most of them jump ship to go fish this new MLF circuit, and I think I can see why they did it.
Yeah.
But on the flip side now, if I was the Bassmaster circuit, I don't really care that those guys left because I made those guys. Right. So it'll be interesting to see now, like. Kevin Van Dam was nobody before he fished the Bassmaster, right? The Bassmaster was the granddaddy of them all. I personally think it kind of still is.
Right, yeah.
And I think that Bass is taking the stance now that, who's next?
It should.
That's great. We built those guys. Those guys are phenomenal anglers, but guess what? There's a lot of them out there. Who's next?
Right.
And I think that's kind of their whole big deal now is who's going to be the next guy. And it's kind of cool.
And we don't know. Maybe it's a Wisco Bass guy.
It could be.
Right.
Eventually.
Maybe a Wisco Bass guy,
Yep.
So that's
could
pretty
be
exciting.
So so we'll get to that here. It's probably the second half of the show.
Yep.
Yesterday, we put 150 miles.
150.
We got in the truck.
150 miles.
150 miles. We got in the truck here at the store. Zach had the camera equipment running.
Yep.
We checked out 9
More than that.
different landings.
Well, it was more than 9 just because we stopped at some like.
Well, I pulled off on a bunch. I'm like, forgot that one was here.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you drive up and down like the West Shore. There's a landing every 30 feet. It seems like.
Yeah,
I
there's
mean,
a lot
whether
of
it's
them.
public or private.
So we tried to hit all the major ones.
All the major ones.
All the big major ones. We went to. Do you have any of that footage? Did you get?
I have a couple of clips on here.
All right.
I have
Well,
three of them.
Well, whatever you have when we get to it,
Yep.
just let us know. But we started out at Fire Lane 8 here up on the North Shore of Winnebago. A couple of the gentlemen were there. Were kind of monitoring the situation. They had a lot of runoff at that particular landing.
Yeah, it looked like a river.
Yeah, there's a ton of water coming off the edge of it. It was. I mean, there's a lot of good ice out there.
Yes.
But there was a lot of water, probably 2-3 inches of water, and then there was that shell skim ice on the top trying to form.
Which hopefully will freeze up here, in the next day.
And there was a hole in front of that landing, I believe. They had it marked by a couple of down trees.
Yeah, and so they were kind of urging people. Sorry, I was touching my microphone, but they were urging people not to really go off that landing at that time. Let it freeze up.
Zach, did you get that message I sent you on Facebook this morning? Instant messenger.
Which one?
So with the picture of the trees, it was a sign from the lake, kind of spelling out what the trees mean. I thought that'd be kind of cool if you could pull it up.
Okay.
But they had a hole there that formed,
Yep.
and they were trying to get people to obviously not go in the hole. That's kind of a bad thing.
Yep.
But they were kind of urging people to let the lake set up again before you keep driving over, because if you keep driving through that open water, it's just obviously not going to freeze.
And we witnessed that at a couple different landings. Guys just trying to. I mean, it was like a free car wash. I mean, our undercarriages were getting, but it wasn't good. I mean,
no.
And the guy, we were at Poygan, at the Duck Inn on Poygan, and that one guy came off. There was 2 trucks trying to go out, and one guy was coming off, and they asked him how were conditions. He's like, the ice itself underneath the slush was good.
And there was on average 15 to 20 everywhere
inches
we went.
For the most part.
Everybody we talked to, there was 15 to 20 inches.
Good solid ice.
Pretty much across the whole system. Winnebago to Poygan. It was
some guys said there are spots with less than 12, but I don't know.
Well, that goes back to that whole thing. No ice is ever safe ice.
Right.
Always know where you're going or test it. If you're cautious, be cautious. Even more cautious. Test it out, whatever. But I think as a whole, the vibe was 16 or 15 to 20 inches as a whole.
And then Paints Point had urged just be careful around the islands. They had said, I think it was
Garlic Island. Yep,
just be careful.
And those islands always, just due to the nature of being an island, when the ice shifts, it causes cracks and those types of things.
But so we started at Fire Lane 8. We went through Nina Wreck. Then we went all the way down.
And the Nina Wreck launch. Let's just go through them all, right?
Yeah.
So the Nina Wreck launch was in really good shape.
Really good shape.
Yep, really good shape. I don't know if that one gets driven off as much as some of the other ones, and you can tell.
Yep.
That one was in really, really good shape. There was a couple of, you could see the crack out there from that landing. So that was in good shape. From there, we went to the Paints Point Hook and Spear Club.
Yep, that place, I thought that place, not only was their landing impressive, but that facility was super impressive.
Yeah, I agree, absolutely.
I mean, it was.
they got $1 beer.
Well, yeah, that was cool. That's
right? No, you got to be a member there. It's $20 a year.
$20 a year.
It's 15 now. I think if you're over 62, it's $15 a year.
Yep. And they have raffles, and they have they do some kind of. And that's where it really opened my eyes, and I kind of touched on it earlier. Is like, why do you pay to go off of a landing? And because those landing conditions were so much better, at that one. We had the
You could
big.
tell.
You could definitely tell.
Absolutely.
You know, like we hit on it a little bit. Nofke's charges $2.
Yep.
Okay. Well, some guys might. Well, really, but yeah. Then we went from Nofke's. We went down the road.
Yeah, to
literally
the Lake
100
Boygan
yards to
County
the
Park
yeah.
there, yep.
That access was terrible.
Yep.
I won't even. Yeah, it was absolutely terrible. So we were just like we talked about this, and this video will come out this afternoon.
Yep.
You know, with the landings and everything on it. But we were just like, seriously, for $2 and for a pristine landing, pay it.
Yeah, I agree.
You know, or you just.
Well,
you,
and there's a lot of guys putting a lot of effort into making that access good, which is
Oh,
why it's
yes.
good, right? They keep
Yep.
it plowed. They keep it. I mean, those guys are putting a lot of time and effort into keeping their
Yes.
area good.
Yep.
$2 is cheap. I
It's
mean,
cheap.
come on.
Yeah. Yep. Help them out too. I mean, obviously, that just helps. They do so much, and like the other thing too is.
Well, and those are the first guys too at the Pains Point or Nofke's. If you've got an issue, those are the first guys to come rescue your ass.
Yes. Yeah.
I mean,
Yep.
really, right?
Oh, true story.
Those are the first guys that are there to help you.
Well, at Merritt Street, we met up with Don Herman from Sunken Dive, and that guy's really cool.
Oh, he was awesome.
He's really cool. He did a great job. You'll find that out in the video.
Yeah, well, I've actually got a clip
You got a
from
clip?
that.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah,
Let's
play
see.
that a little bit.
I've got a little bit of a teaser from our conversation with him, so we're gonna roll that in a second here.
All right, everybody, it's Matt with the Real Shot again here. We're at Merritt Street, standing with Don Herman, of the owner of Sunken Dive. He's going to give us the conditions of not only this landing, but probably a couple other landings up and down the road. So take it over, my man.
The Merritt Street landing, yesterday we had water running down, and even if you go online and look at Quinney's landing, there was like a river running down. And that's all tightened up now. I mean, we've got this cold weather. We have cold weather coming. Merritt Street landing, we're actually going to open up Wagoose Street.
Oh, nice.
So you don't have to come down here. We're going to take some pressure off this landing. Asylum Bay, I'm pretty sure we're going to put a bridge out there. I mean, I'm getting a lot of comments because we always done it, but
Yep.
you can get from Asylum Bay to our bridge off of Merritt Street. It's just a little rough ice, but you don't have to jump a crack. You can get this way off of Merritt Street. So all these landings for Sturgeon Spearing, we're going to have 4 landings. I know Payne's Point's landing's really good.
Yep.
But it tightened up. Stay off the roads. We had our main road going out. Just stay next to it. We're not going to have any roads now because until we get some snow, we don't have any.
So if we
Snow
get
plow.
that 4 to 5 inches that they're possibly talking about for some areas tonight, what do you think that's going to phase it at all?
No. Actually, the snow will help it if we get warm again.
Just insulate it.
If we didn't have that snow on the ice here before, and we had that 340-degree weather,
Yep.
the ice really.
But it would have been
took a toll.
real. I mean, you look at it now; it's good, clear, solid looking ice.
And you have to remember, we're only dealing with, there's
Yeah. So Don's a phenomenal man. I would love for somebody to follow Don around with the video camera
Well, and he's doing videos all the time.
all the time. He
So
said
was-
from our interview with him here, he was heading out to do a Facebook
Yep.
post.
And he did. I saw it.
Oh,
Yep.
did you?
I mean, he was awesome. He was purposely trying to get back to you
Yep.
to make sure that we could get him on the footage.
Yeah, he
It
reached
was
out to
really
me a
good.
number of different times too. So that was
Yeah,
that
he was
super
awesome.
Cool.
That was great.
Yep. So, but like he said, he already did 9 rescues this year already.
Yep.
And then the most he's ever done, I forget what year, but he said it was over 70 rescues.
Wow.
And that's not including like just pulling people like out of
Just getting them
just
unstuck.
getting them
Right.
unstuck. Those are full-fledged rescues. So yeah, that would be cool. To
So
follow that
from
guy
the
around.
Pains Point Hook and Spear Club, then we headed out
we
towards
went to
Poigan.
Poigan. Yep.
So we went up to the Duck Inn, the old Duck Inn. I don't even know what it's called now, the Lake Poigan Launch or something.
think
I don't know.
yeah.
If you've been from around here, it's
always
been
Duck
called
Inn.
the Duck Inn.
Yep.
The Duck Inn launch was in pretty good shape.
Yep. Until you got
Until
around
you got
the
around
point.
that little island. They got a little break wall there. Once you got around that, that's when it got really wet.
Yep.
It for whatever reason, Poigan must have had a little more water on top of it. I saw some videos of guys drilling holes and the water just pouring
running
back
into
into
it.
the
Yep.
hole. So Poigan had a little bit of water on top of it. I think the ice is still plenty good underneath it. It'll probably freeze up here the next day or two. I would assume it'll get pretty thick and
Right.
be good to go.
Yeah. What is the upcoming forecast? It's cold, right?
Yeah, it's pretty
Snowy
cold.
and cold
Thought I saw tomorrow's like a high of 6 or something.
Yeah.
We're
Right.
making ice every day now.
every day.
We're
Yep.
making ice. There was almost no snow whatsoever on any of the lakes.
Right.
No, so that's
travel's going to be easy. It's going to be easy to get around.
Yes.
But there's no snow to pack your shacks in and do some of those
Well, there
types
should
of
be
things.
some now, unless it blows.
Well, this
around.
stuff was pretty hard to.
Right.
It was real thin
Right.
and kind of icy almost.
We're gonna play a video here shortly, but we did find out why you need to wear
Cleats.
Yes.
We
yes.
found that out. I mean, I don't
Zach
know.
had his summer boots on.
Got the summer boots.
Summer
Boots.
I still don't know why I said that. So the funny thing is I don't know if it's on video. I have to check, but
No, it's on video.
we were about to walk out on
It was
on
at
Huygen,
Duck Inn.
at
Yep.
Duck Inn.
Duck Inn, yep.
And the second my foot touched the ice, it just wanted to go real bad. And out of nowhere, all I said was, "Oh, I can't do this. I got my summer boots on," and it came from nowhere.
That's because
Well,
you're a car guy. And
right.
You're thinking about tires.
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
And so I'm thinking, okay, well, then a little bit later, we were walking and filming, and we weren't even on ice at this
We
point.
were at Nofke's.
We were at Nofke's.
Yeah, we were at
but
Nofke's, and the Nofke landing looked awesome.
Yeah,
Right.
There is
yep.
a hole right there because a little bit of a crack opened up or something,
Yep.
and a car went through over the weekend, like right by the launch.
Yep. But they've got it marked, too.
But they had it marked
They had it
really, really
marked.
well. And they had a easy area to kind of go right and get around it. But the landing, the on and off part of the landing
Was
looked
beautiful.
really good shape.
Now, we will say, though, and we touched on this in the video, too, some parking lots were glare ice at the time.
Yeah.
So when you're pulling into these parking lots at some of these private ones, dude, just be
Yeah,
be
it
careful.
was glare ice.
Right.
They're literally
like,
glare ice.
and a lot of it, like what you're about to see me do, was like there was no ice visually there. It was
that's
so
right.
thin.
I forgot it was at Nofke's.
Yeah.
Summer
I
boots
just go right back to
No,
summer boots at the Duck Inn.
Summer boots at the Duck Inn. The whoopsie was at
Whoopsie at
Nofke's.
Nofke's.
And it's
Are you
real
gonna play it?
short clip, but here.
Short.
Got him.
Summer boots. Summer boots. There we go. I hit the like 2-inch piece of.
Camera guy fashion.
Yeah.
He put the camera before his own ass.
Oh, here it is.
And he, you're delayed, remember?
Yep.
But he put the camera, and he saved the camera. He saved it. It was
in
pretty
the
gracious.
video. In the video, you need to have a caption on there saying like, "At least I didn't spill my beer" or something
Right.
like that. You know, because that was
Right.
And we felt bad.
But anyway, so obviously that's where we talk about cleats all the time.
Yes.
Yep.
Right.
Yes.
Which all of us forgot yesterday.
us
Literally,
forgot
all three of
cleats.
us forgot our cleats.
See, I think subliminally I was hoping one of us would fall on camera so we could talk about selling cleats. Not that I wanted anybody to get hurt. just, you know.
There's one piece of the video that's still just I saw it for a quick second today, but I didn't have time to throw it into its own clip. Was when Matt was running down the one on the south side of Lake Winnebago. I forgot what
Okay.
launch that was. One of the no-name launches where we were testing the ice. You know, where you're
that
trying to
was
fall
Nagy.
through.
Yep.
Yeah, I think it was Nagy.
Yeah.
He's out there and he starts running towards the end of the launch, and all he's saying is, "This is real speed. This is not sped up," or something like
Not
that.
fast forward.
Fast forward.
Well, I always when I get out in front of you in the camera, I always think you're gonna do those fast forward, like things like weird.
Are you saying you're slow?
Yeah, yeah. So I'm like, oh, he's doing fast forward right now, so I can just kind of run, and it looks like I'm running really, really fast. And then you never do. So I was like, this is
see,
real speed.
I thought he was just trying to brag about how fast he could run.
Right.
Oh yeah, no,
And I'm
no,
just
no,
like,
no.
I'm just like, first of all, you're not that fast. But
No,
second
yeah.
of all, that right there is peak human performance.
Yeah,
if I've ever seen it.
I would never claim to be fast.
So Nofke's look great.
Nofke's look great.
Huygen's going to be easily travelable
Yep.
this weekend. I
Yep.
mean, it's going to be in really good shape once it gets hard and everything
Yep.
freezes back up again.
I mean, you could see it from Nofke's, though. You could kind of see where some of the cracks and some of the heaves
oh,
were.
for sure. Yep.
But, yeah, for the most part, I think everybody was driving everywhere on that lake. Now, the fishing reports, we didn't get a whole lot of fishing reports.
No,
for the
well,
most part.
Nofke's gave us one.
They
said there was
were
some
catching
walleyes towards the west end of the lake there.
Yep.
They were doing pretty well on walleyes, but that was really the only. I mean, we didn't really go out looking for fishing
No.
reports. I wanted to get the video, show people what do
Yes.
the landings look like.
Yep.
A lot of people, we've talked about this a lot about hunting time, right? It's you have limited time to go do what you want to do.
Yep.
Right.
And ice fishing is the same way. Now, we can maybe hopefully save some people some time by.
Yes.
I don't want to go to that landing. I want to go to this landing.
Well,
type
and we
of deal.
actually did that. We had met at the very first Fire Rain Late when we stopped there. We got a shout out first of all.
Yeah.
We were like,
Matt felt like a
Yeah,
celebrity.
actually,
Yeah.
first public recognition of
Public
being from
recognition.
TRS Live.
Yeah.
So
I
that's
mean,
pretty
like,
cool.
so, like, you'll be out, and I think you were kind of captioning this, and people will be like, man, where do I, they'll kind of look at you like, where do I know that guy from? And you get a lot of it, like when you work the sales floor or something like that. Like, we did recognize one of the guys right away who shops here quite often at Fire Lane 8. But then we were talking to another guy, and he's like, what does this landing look like? And we're like, well, truck's going out. It doesn't look great. He goes, oh, and Brian's like, we're going to go to 8 or 9 different landings today. And we're like, we're at the real shot. And he goes, oh, yeah. I listened to your stuff. And right away we're like, yes.
Matt felt pretty cool.
I did.
He did. It took him about a half hour to come down from
Yeah. You don't even lie, dude. You were right there.
Half hour later, they're both like, should we have gave him something signed?
Yeah.
Did he want an autograph? Did he want a picture with us?
Well, I think what it did open our eyes up to is, as we're doing this more and people start to tune in more, we're going to try to purposely carry stuff around with us.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
Like I saw a kid, I think I touched on it on Monday, but I saw a kid over in Wild Rose this weekend. He was from Amherst. I reached out to him with my business card. He got back to me, and I threw him a promo code, and he loved it. He absolutely loves it, But
who doesn't like getting discounts?
Well, yeah, who doesn't like getting discounts?
Right?
But either way, so that's the kind of stuff that consciously we're going to try to do a better job of.
I agree. It's new for everybody.
Yeah. But
Matt's not used to being a celebrity. So.
Well, I mean,
just kidding.
Kind of a big deal. I have many leather-bound books.
Right. Now, one thing I just wanted to throw in there about Matt is he does have a new TV show coming up. Okay, National Geographic. So he is going to be a real celebrity talking about geology. He's actually the best geologist I've ever met. So I'm going to go ahead and roll this clip. Because we're going to learn a little bit about how America was formed.
Well, yeah.
Before the dinosaurs.
So this right here is how the tectonic plates in America are formed. What happens is the icebergs melted, created a channel, and that's created the Suez Canal. Here's Sunken Dive right now.
Yeah.
Nice.
Matt helping people out with well, where that came from though.
Right.
After we left Nofke's, we went back towards the south of the north Silent Bay County launch.
Yep.
And you could see the big giant shoves out there.
Yeah, huge.
Right.
And then of course in Zach's infinite wisdom, he's like, well, using all these big words, Matt and I using all these big words you and I don't understand. He's like, that's actually a really good representation of how the tectonic plates work.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it happens sometimes,
Well, and it's.
I mean, my brain just stores a bunch of information I
that's
really don't
great.
need to know.
Somebody's got to.
And then everything I need to know just goes
Hey,
right
somebody's
out.
got to teach me stuff.
Right.
I'm not that smart.
I can't even pronounce that fishing thing we talk about all the time. MFL, MLF. I don't know. It's one
Zach's
of
over talking about tectonic plates and stuff.
Yeah. Sometimes
So anyway, so that's
sometimes
where
I
that came
drool
from.
when I talk. I can't. I mean, it's funny, but no, it was all in all like it was an awesome.
So the Silent Bay launch looked really good.
Bay. Yep, that
really
was
good.
another good one. Now again, like we didn't
We
get
tried
out
to check
around
Matt
the
in,
point.
but they didn't let him. in.
We didn't get out around the point on that one. So
then went from there. We went down. We actually drove around through Menominee Park. You can see the big shells by Menominee Park. You got some footage of that for the video.
Definitely.
And then from there we went to Merritt. Merritt Street's where we saw John, I can't think of his name right now. Who did we meet? Herman.
Don
Herman, thank you.
Donnie.
Met him. We got the interview. That was at Merritt Street.
Yep.
Both North and South Merritt
He
Street.
did say that you
ramps look
could
good.
get from Merritt all the way back
across.
to Asylum.
Right.
Yep.
You could go. You could travel it up to Asylum. Obviously, you'd have to dodge a bunch of icebergs that are
Right.
out there. But
Yep. Then from Merritt, we made our way all the way down to Wentz. We
Wentz.
stopped at a couple of those other
that
places.
one was in great shape.
Wentz was maybe one of the better
One of
ones.
the-
It looked
yes.
awesome.
Phenomenal.
Wentz looked awesome.
Yep.
Went around down through Fond du Lac, came up, stopped at Brothers-Town.
Brothers-Town.
looked really good. They had a couple bridges out in Brothers-Town.
Yeah, and I think that was the one where they had the big water because more and more private clubs mentioned how like I think Quinny was.
Okay.
I didn't know.
Brothers-Town was Queens.
Yeah. But they said they had, on the day before had a huge run up.
Yep.
It wasn't so much on the landing; it was I think next to the landing.
Okay.
But
that locked up pretty good.
that locked up pretty good.
and then when we hit Stockbridge.
And Brothers-Town, it was the first one that actually had a bridge out, not far from the landing.
Right.
There was bridges like out a little ways
Yep.
from like Merritt Street, but Brothers-Town, there is a bridge right away at the beginning of the landing.
and then we hit Stockbridge. Stockbridge looked really good.
And both of those landings look really good. The boat launch itself.
Yep.
There's people, not as many people, but there's people driving off of that one. And then the one that's right across from the boat launch,
Right.
past the break wall, there was another landing
Yep.
there. And then that one had another bridge, I think, like 50 yards away from shore or something like that.
Yeah, and those look really good.
Really,
if you're
really
coming
good.
off the east side of the lake. I mean, there might be a bunch of other drive-offs, but those are kind of the big ones.
Yeah, those are the ones that, from what we understand, most people are using. So yeah,
And then the video is going to come out this afternoon.
Yep.
Correct? And then you'll actually be able to see everything for yourself, not
Right.
just taking our word for it.
yes,
You'll be able to see exactly what they all looked like. So.
Yep. And so I think with that being said, though, I think everyone's worries have been quelled or calmed because there was a lot up in the air about this weekend and everything was started inspiring and people were thinking, oh, it's going to get canceled or how are we going to do this? And I think we lucked out literally just in time. Like one day and we're good for cutting in at least. So
correct, right? So you looked up some sturgeon numbers, right?
I did.
We don't really get huge into sturgeon spearing, but it's a big deal.
It's a big deal.
I mean,
we were talking about that.
It's a big deal.
It'd be interesting to see like the numbers for sturgeon spearing as far as like revenue dollars,
right,
compared to like the 9-day gun season. Now, obviously, like you pointed out, you can go all over the state to hunt deer, where sturgeon spearing is just here. But it'd be kind of cool to kind of see those numbers. But before we get into these numbers, Ryan, we appreciate it. Ryan does order pretty much once a week, and thank you very much.
Sometimes multiple times a week. So
yeah, thank you very much. So and obviously anybody else that's tuning in, is your wife trying to burn you there?
She's always trying to burn me.
She's trying to say, oh yeah. By the way, Megan, if you're still watching, I got beef. We got beef with
Which Megan?
Uh-oh.
Megan Keller, your wife.
Oh, my wife, yeah.
Yeah, so yesterday, right, like, we're guys. We don't think things through all the way.
Never.
I never
Not
do.
even once.
I don't even know what thinking things through means.
Right.
What is that?
Just do it.
We
send it.
Every single one of us came back into the building at
Every
least
single one of us forgot something.
one time to grab something. But she burned me, and she goes, I knew as soon as the door opened up for the first time after you guys have gone back in, she goes, I knew it was you, Matt.
And the funny thing was,
it was me.
It wasn't you. It was me.
Oh no, I did come in.
Did you come in before I did? So you forgot things twice.
But either
you were
way,
being that guy.
I don't know what that means. I don't know what that means, Megan Keller. But we got beef. So sturgeon spearing. So I looked up some of the numbers for this year as far as the license sales.
No, that's for 2019.
2019,
license sales? Oh,
yes,
awesome. Okay.
2019 license sales. So there are 12,411 licenses sold on Bagel.
Wow. Okay.
And then because the uprivers, there's a limited number.
Tags,
There was only 479 tags for the sold for the upriver. And then like to get into it, so what that means is like your harvest caps, like what they're shooting for is 430 juvenile females, and then 950 adult females, and then there's like 1,200 males.
See, and the thing with the sturgeon spearing is they can shut it down at any time.
Anytime.
I mean, the season might last a day.
Yep. So
if they hit the numbers, it's over.
I think it's 16 potentially day season.
Yeah, maximum.
Maximum.
But they can close it in a day if they want. I mean, I think they give you there's a window there. They give you a day notice or whatever, but they can close it any time.
And everybody we talked to at the landings, for the most part, said clarity was pretty good, but that was not long enough after we had all the runoff.
Right.
So I'm sure.
And I think based on the one guy, he was like, you can be in one spot, it's great, 10 feet over, and it's terrible. And that's just that water's flowing through and just churning, right? I mean, you might go to that spot tomorrow that was clear and it might be dirty.
And there was one, it was funny because I was talking to one guy in Winneconne, and he goes, I checked like 4 or 5 different spots, and he goes, it was money, I'm really excited. And I said, and right away I'm like, oh, that's cool. And he goes, and you got to just tight-lipped after that point. I'm like, I'm not looking for your spots.
Right. It's guys, sturgeon, man. It's hardcore.
Yeah, for sure. So, and then the upriver is allocated. It's at 10% of adult females. The cap is, and then 20% of the juvenile females. So,
what's the percent of? I wonder. How do they know that?
I don't know. It's on their website. The DNR's website is phenomenal for this. I just was jotting notes down.
Oh, Ryan said that the Black Lake here in Michigan, the season was over in 88 minutes.
Could you imagine? Yep, this is going to be a great week of fishing, and nope.
You put a lot of time into that. I don't know how numbers-wise, or I don't know how big that lake is or whatever, Ryan, so if you want to let us know with size or whatever, but, I mean, guys are
only 6 fish taken.
Guys are out, okay. So guys are out scouting for this. They're drilling holes. They're scouting. They're driving. I mean, they're taking vacation days to get set up for this.
Justin's off all day Friday to go help cut in, and I'm sure he's scouting.
I think actually we might go live with him Friday from the lake.
That would be sweet.
I think the plan Friday is he's going to be out on the lake. We're going to go live from him, actually watch him cut in a hole on Friday.
Right.
Via Skype.
Yep.
Which will be awesome.
Yep.
Because a lot of people maybe have never seen that done.
Right.
The big sled saws and all that kind of stuff. It's kind of cool.
Yeah. Yep. So, and then I was just kind of perusing through. There's a big Zag type word.
That's a big
perusing.
word.
Wow. But
can you spell it?
No.
I
can barely pronounce it. Anyway, so what I thought was really cool is you can look up every single person that speared a sturgeon last year. They register them by their last name in alphabetical order. The biggest one last year, that if I missed it, I apologize, but it's 155 pounds and 6 ounces, and it was speared. It was the biggest fish taken in Winnebago in like so many years.
Right.
And that fish, to me, it was pretty cool too because to look like the weight to length ratios, that fish was 75.6 inches long.
That's a big fish.
That's a huge fish.
Big fish.
But then, like, the longest one that I saw, just like I said, just going through the numbers, was 84.5 inches, but it only weighed 143 pounds. So, I mean, just think of the girth that some of these fish have. Like, there was another one that was 77 inches, but it was 147 pounds.
Wow.
I mean, now that's just outrageous.
Let's come up with one of your picture giveaway things on Facebook. Let's have people start sending their pictures in. Come up with something, you guys, about what we can, best sturgeon, biggest sturgeon, something.
Oh, Justin did ask. Justin wanted me to ask on here is sturgeon recipes.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Well, if people want to submit their sturgeon recipes, we hear a lot of different ones here, and then we'll take some of the good ones and we'll throw them on our TRS Outdoors
awesome. Fantastic.
under the recipe page.
Right.
So,
so one thing I want to know is like
let's
when
give
you
out a
pull
gift
out
card for that. Hey, if we actually use your recipe and put it up on our page, let's give them a $50 gift card.
$50.
Let's do that.
Oh.
Can we do that?
Yeah.
Do I have the authority to do that?
No, you don't.
No, I don't.
Nope.
Let's do that.
Nope.
So if somebody's got a really good sturgeon recipe that we end up putting on that you're willing to give us, right? Some of that stuff's probably like
So should we have them?
trade secret
Right.
stuff.
Yeah.
But if you're willing to give it to us and it's good enough that we feel like we'll put it on the website, we'll give you a $50 gift card.
So if you wanted to keep it private, you can just message the store on Facebook.
It's not going to be private because we're going to put it on the TRS Outdoors.
Yeah. Oh, that's true. Yo. Sorry.
I mean, if you're worried about it being private, it's
yeah,
probably not a good
I'm
thing.
sleeping on the job. I'm sleeping on. But no, they can either share it to this or they can inbox us. That's what I was meaning.
Yeah, I think that'd be
guys.
greght.
Definitely.
I fell yesterday too, so we're good.
All right.
So anyway, I've sturgeon speared I think twice in my life. I've never speared one, but I went and sat and did it. It wasn't for me personally, but I can see if you were lucky enough to have it actually happen. It's got to be one of the craziest adrenaline rushes ever. Right? Like, you stick a deer with an arrow, it runs off, all that kind of stuff.
Right.
You spear that fish, now you got to fight the thing. Now you're pulling this prehistoric creature up, monster. I mean, if you've ever been in a sturgeon shack, there's a foot or two on the side of this, big hole.
Yep.
Now you got to get this thing up, and you're coming right out of the shack with it. I've heard stories. I've seen some videos of it happening. It's got to just be chaotic.
Oh man.
Right.
Yep. Especially sitting there for so long, not seeing anything.
It's got to look like a mirage almost. Like you're sitting there, you're looking, all of a sudden,
there it is. Yeah.
It's got to be pretty cool.
Yep. Yeah, it would be neat. Numbers I saw for last year's harvest was there was 654 from Bago and then 297 fish from the upriver lakes.
Okay. Upriver Lakes being Butamore, Pike, and Winnie County.
Yep, the upriver.
Right.
So
very nice.
Yeah, so I mean it's kind of interesting. I got all kinds of crazy numbers. I printed off some stuff. But if you go to the DNR's website and you just look up the sturgeon, there's so much information on there.
Very cool. Very cool.
Yeah, they do a real good job of tracking all that information.
So video's going to be up this afternoon. Obviously share that around to help people be safe. Let your buddies know what the landings look like. And then if that goes over big, we'll definitely do more of that.
Right.
If people want to see that type of information, it's something we could do weekly if we wanted to. We could do it monthly if we wanted to, or we could just do it when there's weather patterns of things that are changing. That probably makes the most sense. But
we already pretty much figured that we're gonna go again before Battle on Bago.
Right, that's a biggie.
Maybe not all of them again. I don't know if whatever works out, but we're definitely gonna hit some more landings before the battle.
And if you're not familiar with Battle on Bago is like the biggest ice fishing event for sure on Winnebago.
Correct.
It's one of the largest ones in the nation.
Yes.
It's huge.
Yes.
It's a really big deal.
Yep. Crazy money gives out. And it's gambling. It's like a lottery system is what
right.
it is. You catch one fish and it could win you a brand new pickup truck.
Yeah, I mean a pickup truck's like 100th place or 150th place or something.
They do a great job with it. So
it's a good time.
Yep. That's coming up real quick. And then so it was a lot of fun. It was really cool to see the conditions yesterday and
well, and what I took away from it is that we have a lot of very hardworking people.
Yes.
Running these other clubs. Even the Fire Lane 8, I don't know if that's an actual club or a group or whatever, but they had 3 guys there just monitoring that landing.
Yes.
No, these are older retired guys, but they're still putting a lot of time and energy into making sure everybody has a safe time on the ice.
Right.
And I don't ice fish a lot. That's not really my thing, but it was really cool to see that many people involved with more than happy to talk to us.
Yep.
More than happy to let us know what they thought about the lake or the ice, and really, really caring about making sure everybody's safe.
And to me it was cool to see that. But then like we were at one landing, I can't remember where it was, and it just kind of made me mad. Right away, there's some litter right off the landing. It was like a beer can and stuff like that.
That was one of the ones in Oshkosh.
Yeah. And I've been out on Poigan.
Well, and the beer can was on the ice.
Yeah,
it wasn't on the shore.
No,
it
was
on
right
the
on the ice.
If nobody picks that up, it's on the bottom of the lake.
I've been on Poigan towards the end of the season, and there's like wood all over the place. There's cans. There's just pick your stuff up for the love of Christmas. I mean,
it's not that hard.
It's not that hard.
It's just not that hard.
You know, we want to use these lakes forever and ever. We want our kids, blah blah blah, that future type stuff. But yeah, just pick your stuff up. I mean, it's not that hard. Your shack goes in. You're responsible for everything.
Yeah, you can see we actually made a comment because like, where'd Matt go? And Zach's like, he is on litter control.
Yeah, well, it was
just
right.
It's no different than walking around like public hunting woods or even the land where you have permission to hunt. Just pick your stuff up, even if you didn't put it there. That's my biggest pet peeve with my kids. It's not mine. I'm like, I don't care. Pick it up.
Right.
Pick it up. I didn't use that glass. I don't care. Pick it up.
Well, that's one thing we have
supposed to pick it up, right? Like, why is it automatically her job? Right?
Yeah, exactly.
But that's one thing we have to remember though is these lakes and these woods, and no matter what you're doing as far as sports, like it's 2019. People think it's a right. It's not a right anymore. It's a privilege.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So if we can't treat the land right, it's no different than snowmobile trails and staying on the trail.
Yes.
If we can't treat it right, we lose that privilege, or we lose that.
As outdoors men and women, we're targeted anyways.
Well, I agree.
Yep.
People automatically, if you're talking to the wrong person, you say, "Oh, I hunt." Oh, yeah, no more conversations. So let's just not give them more fuel for the fire.
I agree.
Right.
Pick your stuff up. Tangent over.
And how long did it take you to pick that up?
Literally no time.
12
I
seconds?
put it in the back of your truck and I left it in there till you to throw it away. Right?
No,
we did. We stopped at the gas station up the road and I threw it away. And it's, we could have got into that more. There could have been a lot more garbage that was out further, but it literally took me.
And there is more out there. Let's be honest.
There's tons of it out there.
It's too bad.
And it's sad. It's really
too
sad
bad
to see.
that you can't have fun, have a good time, just pick up your
Pick
shit.
your stuff up.
Especially when
it's not that hard.
Especially when it's the water though, is all that garbage. It ends up somewhere.
Right.
It usually ends up with the fish, and now you just hurt what you're trying to go after.
Yep.
It makes no sense to me.
No, it's just not that hard to take care of your stuff.
The old one bad apples story.
It's just not hard. It's just
pick it up.
Too bad.
All right.
All right.
All right. So moving into MLF. TJ's little deal here. We talked about Monday how awesome I thought that tournament was last week.
Yep.
TJ was behind the scenes of that whole thing, covering it for a bunch of these guys. He was actually he told me he was sitting with Boyd Duckett and Gary Klein, the guys that actually created the circuit.
Yep.
And I can't wait to get his sense from, being there. I mean, right? Like
Yep.
we're watching it, but the guys that created this new event, new circuit, whatever you want to call it, what was their take on that?
Right.
And then talking about, the upcoming Elite Series event here on the St. Johns River and what's going on there. So we're going to get him dialed up.
Yep, I am just verifying that he's ready for us.
Awesome. And I think he's on the water. I'm not 100% sure, but I think he might actually be on the water in Florida. That's going to really be painful to watch.
So before we move into
as we look outside, it's kind of sleeting. And
for me, I don't,
gross.
the ice guys love the ice, and that's awesome. I'm really happy for the guys that love ice fishing. I just want open water.
Yeah.
Yep. Even though I invested in ice fishing because I know I'm going to be doing a lot of it, I'm literally looking at all the stuff that I bought now, and I just go, okay, that's great and all, but when can I put my boat in?
Yeah, I just want to go. I just want to be back in the water.
We had a guy on Monday. I was up in the front of the store, and I was walking, and I recognized him. Hey, man, how's it going? And he goes, I already put my ice fishing stuff away. He goes, I will be on the water in 4 weeks. I'm like, what?
And De Pere will open.
He will,
that
yeah,
fast,
and that's what he was referring to. He'll be up in De Pere, at some time dodging icebergs. But he goes, I'm not even thinking ice anymore. He goes, I came in here, bought a bunch of stuff. I haven't even opened it.
He goes, there's a hardcore.
Yeah.
Guys are hardcore into hunting. Guys are hardcore into fishing. Guys are hardcore into ice fishing. It's just is what
For
it
me,
is.
it's like the Raven deal. As soon as they come in, it's like you got to rip the package open like Christmas morning. But before we hop into TJ, let's
Are you dyslexic?
I don't know.
Are you sure?
I don't know.
He might be.
It's been a rough day.
I think he's got a little like. Well, speaking of rough day, we get back from our trip yesterday.
Oh yeah,
man.
Matt's got to get going. He's got to get home, take his kids to whatever event practices, whatever. Flat tire.
Flat tire.
Yep.
Dude. Like
the worst luck with vehicles is that guy right
now,
there.
I can't.
Just can't win.
Like I can't knock on wood enough for this stuff. Like, dude, with the cold snap, my truck, my car, my truck, my car. It's like, gosh, but whatever. Moving on. So we just touched on we went to 9 different landings tomorrow. Zach's gonna have an awesome video coming out shortly this afternoon. TRS Live is still going on, the promo code, right? So catch up with that. Friday we're gonna be talking hopefully to Justin.
Live on the water, cutting holes.
He's cutting in the holes, and then I forget. I thought we had something else cool coming up for Friday. Was it more sturgeon talk?
I think we're just going to be talking to Justin on the lake.
Justin on the lake.
It'll be a good time.
And then now we're
it's going to be awesome. I mean, if you've never been out there on the lake cutting in, that's pretty cool to see.
Yep. We're going to hopefully try to Skype in with him. Plus, I think he said he's taking a fire disc out there with him.
Yep.
He's going to be mixing up some stuff on the fire disc, so that should be cool.
Yeah.
And then now we're just about to join
We've got him ready.
TJ,
here we go.
He's talking bass fishing.
Awesome. I'm going to dial him up here and get him on. Yeah.
Cool jam.
I wonder how much Microsoft's paid to find that music.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, you're probably talking millions of dollars to get that little jingle.
Answer the phone. There he is.
There we go. Let's see. Can you hear us?
You got me?
Yep,
Yeah.
I got you. Do you have your video turned on?
What's he eating? He's eating something.
I don't know. What's going on, TJ? While you guys work on the video, what's going on?
Hello?
Hello?
Can you hear us?
Hello.
God, technology's killing me.
You're not wrong.
Kills
There
Zach.
he is.
Kill Zach every day.
You got me?
Can you hear us now,
Gotcha.
TJ?
Yep, I don't have video though right now.
Okay. Well, if you can hear us, can we see him?
Yeah, we can see him. He is up and on. So
All right, well, we can see you. We'll work through these kinks as we go here. You know, we don't have this, multi-million-dollar budget for this stuff. We're just trying to do our best.
We are looking for sponsors, by the way, right?
So I am very jealous. I am very, very jealous of the weather. It looks like you're in right now.
Oh, lost the video feed.
There it is.
There we go. Okay.
Can't see you guys though.
All right, we'll get that working here. So what's the weather like down there right now, TJ?
It is currently. Oh, there, I got you now. It is currently what, in the 70s?
You suck. That's all I'm gonna say is you suck.
Yeah.
And I'm in shorts. I'm in a t-shirt, and I'm kind of sweating.
If you ever complain to me about your job face to face, I might lay you out.
Yeah. Yeah.
Actually,
I am with this guy right here, Mr. Chatterbait King.
nice,
Right.
very nice. Is he pre-fishing right now?
No, we're just went fishing, shooting some video and whatnot
Oh, nice.
for him, and just some other stuff. So having fun though.
Yeah, you got a real rough gig, dude. You got a real rough
Lunch
gig.
break, yes.
Oh yeah. Yeah. What's for lunch today, my man?
Very nice.
Actually, a really good Bee Height special sandwich.
Oh.
You guys
Oh.
interrupted my eating when you called. so-
Yeah.
Oh boy,
We timed it
Kinda
out perfectly.
I feel so bad for you. I just the tears, man. They're almost starting to roll, right?
He said he's sweating right now.
Yeah, I know. I
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
jeez Louise. We're sitting here begging for spring, and he's down there.
Yeah.
So TJ, let's talk about the MLF, and then we'll get into the first Elite Series event.
Sounds good.
You told me you were sitting there behind the scenes with a couple of gentlemen, correct? While this whole thing was unfolding.
Yep, I was. I guess. What are you talking? When we were in the service yard?
No. Well, we talked a lot on Monday about how I saw it unfold. Lee barely making the cut, all the way into getting to the final day, and then 6 minutes, and there's penalties and all that kind of stuff. So why don't you just kind of give us a sense of what it was like behind the scenes for the guys that made the cut, the guys that didn't make the cut. How did the guys feel going into that championship day?
Yeah, so I guess going into the championship day, if you guys saw, Iconelli made it rather, I guess what's the word I'm looking for, Brett? Exciting in a way, but yet kind of like a little disappointment the way he handled it.
So what was that all about? I heard about it, but I couldn't find it. And if they don't want people to talk about it, I understand that. But I heard he kind of lost it a little bit.
Yeah, he did. So he actually was in I think 8th place, and he got bumped down to 9th place. And then he was in 10th place, and with a matter of like less than a minute to go, Jared Littner caught a fish within like just seconds. He pulled it over with I think like 8 or 10 seconds to go, and bumped Iaconelli. Well, in the meantime, it takes about 2 minutes, I think, before you'll get a refresh of the update on the scoreboard.
Okay.
And so the update came. Well, as in that time, he was sitting on the front deck talking about, it's not over, but how exciting. He was excited to make the top 10 in the format. And then all of a sudden, the scoreboard hit, and his official said there's been a score tracker update, and unfortunately, it was him having just got bumped from 10th to 11th, which means he was no longer in the top 10, which means he was not going to fish the championship round for 100 grand.
So
man.
is that video available on MajorLeagueFishing.com?
I'm not 100% sure because there was some explicit words said.
Yeah,
I'm assuming it's probably not.
Well, you know what? I don't want to say I don't blame the guy, but I mean I probably would have done the same thing. And Iaconelli, if you don't know Iaconelli, I don't know him personally. I know his character.
He's
right?
a fireball, dude.
He's
absolute fireball.
He's fully loaded all the time. So when that happened, I can only imagine his head exploded.
Well, what would have been worse, finding out like right then, or having to wait to get back to the launch to find out that you were?
From a angler standpoint, waiting allows you to mentally adjust because you don't really know. Well, but that's what they want. That's what that format wants. They don't want him to drop the explicits.
Yes.
But they want the live reaction.
Yep. Which I think was disappointing for some of the anglers because with this being an angler-owned or part angler-owned circuit, it's now not just representing, like, say, Bassmaster. This is representing all the anglers in a much different way and light. And I know some of the other anglers were pretty disappointed that how he handled it.
But that's what you're going to get with him, though.
Yeah, it is, and they all know that. But it's still the point. It's like, how old are you? How many years you've been doing this? Yeah. And can't you handle this a little better?
Right. Well, on the flip side of that, though, I watched an interview with Boyd Duckett, and they asked him about that, and he wasn't as heartbroken over it as you would think, TJ. I think he's looking at it like a professional event where, sometimes those guys go off and they're going to get a fine.
Right.
But the NFL doesn't normally necessarily care that guy went off. They don't want it. But, it's good TV, too.
Right. It's kind of like watching hockey,
Right.
The fights are, the fights are actually part of hockey, but, they don't want it, but it's good for ratings.
So, anyway, so that obviously unfolded right before everybody's eyes, right? And since it's live, they can't. And I think that's the part where MLF is going to have an issue with it is it's live. We're trying to get to this younger demographic, younger generation of people. Can't be sitting there bleeping everything out because it's live.
Right.
Like if you went on a tyrant right now, all I could do is get Zach to turn the mic off, shut the feed down. That's what you got. But
should we try it?
No. So anyway, so going into the final day, we talked about how Lee just went on a tyrant there for a while, for about 2 hours, wasn't it? He just was catching 3-pounders left and right.
Yeah. So up until that point, Iaconelli, that story was the biggest, I would say, to that point, because, he just got knocked off. That was, I would say, the story to that point. And then obviously the championship round came, and it was kind of really a dogfight for anyone. It was anyone's game at that point for most of the day until those last couple hours when started to kind of be almost basically a 3-man race for the most part.
Yep.
With Edwin, Jordan, and then Jared in the mix of things.
No, you and I were talking about when Lee obviously had his lead, and then Edwin got hot. Edwin Evers got hot, and when Lee had that 2-minute penalty.
Yeah.
That's what I was kind of talking about before. Like, you were in a room were you with Boyd and those guys?
Yeah, I was standing with Boyd and Gary Klein, so 2 of the founders of Major League Fishing. So sitting there with them. And just kind of communicating how awesome. This couldn't have played out better for the first event than what it did. It brought the drama that everyone was hoping and thinking and it was going to bring, and it definitely brought it right down to the very end. Because it could have been a blowout just as easy. One of those guys just went and caught that much weight right away in the beginning of the day.
Because it kind of looked like there for a while Lee was just going to run away with it, and then Edwin got on a pot of fish and he started kind of cranking them, and it's cool that if you follow this stuff, Edwin's he's the ultimate competitor, right? He absolutely hates losing more than I tell kids a lot when I'm coaching. You got to hate losing more than you like winning.
Right.
Yep.
Edwin personifies that. Like, he hates losing. And TJ knows him probably better than I do. You could probably speak to that too, but It was cool. He got that to within, 5 pounds, I think it was, while that penalty was happening?
Yeah, I think it was 6 pounds.
Okay,
I think,
6 pounds.
and then when the penalty got done, the first thing Jordan does is catches a 3-pounder. The very first cast. That was crazy.
It was awesome to see that. That was really cool.
Yeah, I mean, a 5-pound fish and that little, that's nothing for down where you are right now. That's the next cast sometimes.
Oh yeah, for sure. Oh, next cast, Edwin could have been 5 pounds in the lead.
Could have been an 8-pounder, yeah.
Yeah,
he could have been 3, 4, 5 pounds in the lead with one cast. So that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's talk a little bit about the Elite Series coming in on St. John. So the Elite Series, totally different format than the MLF.
Yeah, definitely, totally different format. So this is actually the first event of their season, of the Elite Series season. Major changes have happened for their side of things as well. So they went from 110 guys last year to, it'll be, I think, 75 this year on their trails. So their format obviously is staying the same as before. You know, it's the biggest 5 fish they can bring to the scales. So yeah, that's going to start tomorrow. So today's their actual day off. Doing their meetings, getting everything, their boat registration, prep, whatever. And tomorrow morning it'll start probably 7 o'clock there on the St. Johns River in Palatka, Florida. Okay.
How do the anglers feel? Like, there's a lot of turmoil. You know, a lot of the quote unquote big name guys left. Left the Bass Elite or the FLW Tour to go to the new MLF series.
Mm-hmm.
You know, how do the guys coming in feel? Do they feel like, okay, it's my time now? You know, my claim to my kind of issue with, or not issue, but my stance on this is the Bass Elite Series created those big names that we all know.
Right.
They were the guys that built those guys. I mean, obviously those guys are awesome fishermen. I'm not trying to take anything away from that. I mean, those are the guys that consistently put the fish on the scales. But the Elite Series was the format that built them. Is the Elite Series trying to kind of take that stance that, like, who's next? Who's going to be the next guy?
Yeah, that's kind of what their goal is. I mean, I think that's the only way they could really look at it.
Right.
Was, you know, they built those guys, you know, once, they can do it again. But to some extent, yes, that's true. But it was also in a different era, you know, where they had the opportunities to grow. And I think it's a little bit different because Bassmaster Magazine, I don't think it's quite what it is today and what the meaning of it was back then. So, and we had so much growth happening in, you know, the 80s and the 90s, and now we're kind of at a point where, you know, technology's catching up. We're, you know, it's not growing as quickly. So the opportunities, I don't think it's gonna be quite as easy to grow these personalities as it was.
Okay.
That's just my feeling on it. I don't think they're just gonna flip a switch and be able to just grow them like they did.
Right.
But maybe I'm wrong.
How do the anglers feel? Like, how do the anglers in the Elite Series, the guys that you know, how do they feel about it?
I honestly have not talked to many of those guys. Obviously, that will be later this evening. I'll have a better input with some of them. But I think they're all excited. I mean, many of them didn't have a choice. That was where they were going to be, and so I think I'm assuming most of them will just be real positive about it and be happy to fishing on a platform that actually is going to give them a better chance of winning because there'll be lesser guys, and probably. I shouldn't say probably, the talent won't be nearly as high as it has been the last, you know, how many ever years. There'll be a lot of new faces on tour, and so the guys that have been fishing for many years, I think we'll definitely have an upper hand a little bit. I think, but I think every one of those guys, and they wouldn't be there if they can't catch fish.
Right.
So yeah.
Well, so now this is your second week in Florida. Are you seeing, like, let's just talk about tactics and stuff here for a while. I noticed that I saw on the championship day that Lee and Evers are both throwing chatterbaits. I don't know the exact brands or whatever. I don't personally know if that matters. They're both throwing chatterbaits.
It does matter, and you know, I'm fishing with the guy that would definitely say it matters, and I think that they all lean towards the bait that he's made so famous. It's that evergreen jackhammer. I mean, it's as we and I have talked today, I mean, just, you know, the components of that bait just make it, you know, far superior than any other chatterbait out there.
Okay. Well, I don't know if we honestly, I don't know if we carry that or not, but if we don't, we will be shortly.
Right. So I'm just going to catch everybody up. I mean, we got some new viewers chiming in. We're on the phone with TJ. He's down in Florida right now. He just got done with the MLF tournament.
Yep.
That was an awesome one. Now he's getting to meet up with some of the guys for the Bassmaster Elite. So He's just talking about the wrap-up of the MLF tournament and then what's going on. The Bassmaster Elite, you said, starts tomorrow, right, TJ?
Yep, it sure does.
Cool.
So is that the big bite down right in Florida right now? Is that what pretty much everybody's throwing is chatterbaits?
Yes, it's a mix of all of their choices right now, I guess, or in their arsenal. But I would say with the flat, calm conditions, it's probably made it. And Brett, you can tell me it's probably made it a little bit tougher with these conditions.
Yeah, so Cinco, speedworm.
Yeah, so he said Cinco and the speedworm probably have been the two with these conditions. But if we could get any amount of swim jig, any kind of weather, I think. But these fish are really looking to move up because we've had some these last couple of days have been super calm, and it's just going to keep getting warmer over the next few days. So
yeah, because the conditions
I would assume
down
this
there
could be a really awesome week.
The conditions down there leading up to the MLF, wasn't it real cold front, a lot of rain?
Yeah, so the Sunday before the tournament, their first practice day, they had, it literally poured all day from the moment they got in the water till the very end of the day. So it definitely hurt their opportunity, I think, but it just kept getting better throughout the tournament.
And now these guys are coming into a steady high pressure system. They're just going to whack them.
Yeah. FLW. So FLW, their tournament starts tomorrow on the same body of water MLF just was. Their tournament is setting up to be what could possibly be a pretty ridiculous bite. Those fish are just they're starting to hit beds already. I've seen a number of guys catching some pretty nice fish. So their week could be a totally different and better, I guess, than MLF.
Right.
They still did it pretty good.
No, for sure. Yeah, I mean, they caught a lot of fish, obviously, but those big girls, when they decide to move up, it's game on.
So I didn't see.
Yeah, and can happen really quick.
Oh, for sure.
I didn't see who. Can you say who you're in the boat with right now? Who is this chatterbait king you're talking about?
You see him? That's Brett Height there.
Oh,
very nice.
Nice. Hey, man, thanks for letting us talk to you.
Very cool.
Now he's got to catch something.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
On the Skype.
TJ, no pressure. No pressure.
We've been trying to catch something all day. So
put the sandwich down, man. Start catching some 5-pounders.
Yeah.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
All right, well, I think we'll kind of wrap that up. Where are you going anywhere next week, TJ?
Yeah, Texas, I thought, right?
Yeah, so next week we'll be in Texas, and we can catch up from there. So it'll be we'll be at Lake Conroe, which is where the 2017 Bassmaster Classic, which is Jordan Lee won his first classic in, I guess, February of 2017. So almost 2 years ago to this month, that's when his little tear of
he's got to be feeling pretty confident going into that same body of water.
Oh man.
Yeah, I think all the guys. I mean, a lot of these guys have fished that body of water. I mean, all of them, I think, feel pretty good about fishing that body of water.
Oh, I agree, but I'm just coming off a classic and this last win. It's like, all right, here we go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very nice. Well, thanks a lot, TJ. I'll let you get back to doing your job, and I appreciate your time.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
And you guys try to stay aware.
Yeah.
All right. Sounds good.
Man.
Thanks a lot.
See ya.
All right. See you guys. Bye.
Well, that's pretty awesome. I mean, obviously, you're going to have those ins and outs of the audio.
He's literally on the water.
Yeah, he's on the water somewhere, and we're subject to whatever cell coverage he has. So
for the most part, what I was watching, it was pretty darn good.
It was really great until they started moving the boat and started fishing again. That's when they started getting a little iffy. But either way,
and that's what we're going to deal with TJ. He's going to be in the boat with these guys. They don't necessarily. I don't want to say they don't care about TRS Live, but they don't care about us. They got a job to do, and they're trying to get ready for that.
So do you know who the guy was?
No, I didn't. I couldn't really hear the name.
Right.
So
okay, I was like, is he a big dude? That's why I wanted to know if we could ask. I mean,
okay.
If he's somebody cool, I mean, that's
if TJ didn't want us to talk about who he's with or whatever, he just wouldn't be there.
It makes sense.
The guy knew what he was doing, and he knew what we were talking about and whatever, and. Obviously got to plug his bait, so that's good.
Yeah, 70 degrees with high skies, shorts.
It's just ridiculous.
Come on.
I don't want to think about it. It's depressing.
You just have to be like I used to be and start wearing shorts and tropical overshirts, during the wintertime. You just have to be in the spirit.
Does it make you
summer.
feel better when you do
that?
A little
bit.
Yeah,
Perfect.
does it bring your spirits up a little bit? So.
All right, so we're going to wrap this up here today. Couple minutes left on the TRS Live discount code on the website.
Yep.
Right? I mean, that usually takes about a couple minutes from once we're done here before Lance turns it off. Video's going to drop this afternoon. The
Yep.
landings, the 9 landings we talked about earlier in the show. So if you're just kind of joining us now, once we're done, you can replay this.
Yep.
We went to kind of talked a little bit about the landings, but in a little while here, you'll actually be able to see the landings once Zach posts the video.
Sturgeon Experience starts this weekend, so good luck
Can
to
start
everybody.
cutting in tomorrow.
Yeah, cutting in
that'll be
tomorrow.
cool.
Yep.
And then Friday, we'll be on the water live with Justin.
Yep.
He'll be hopefully Skyping. Winnebago's got pretty good cell service, so we should be fine.
Yep.
He'll be on there Skyping, cutting in some holes and stuff. That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, and remember, we're looking for your best sturgeon recipes.
Best sturgeon recipe.
And you said we feel it's good. Now we can more than one. Like if it's a different recipe or just one.
Well, we're gonna give away one $50 gift card.
What if it's like somebody like is
Well-
a boiler, but somebody deep fries it, and this guy
Well, then
smokes
you guys
it?
will have to make the case.
We have
All
to
right.
we have to decide
Well, you
which
gotta-
one of those is better.
Oh man. So, anyways, looking for the best recipe. The winner is gonna get on the TRS Outdoors.
So here's a question for you:
recipe page.
How do we judge a recipe if we can't cook it?
I don't know.
Well,
I just came up with it on the fly, right?
I like the incentive.
Me too.
Yeah, well, just
We'll make it happen.
Start giving us
You
your
guys will
recipes.
figure it out.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. But you're gonna get a TRS $50 gift card
For sure.
for show. So
All right, awesome.
cool. Thanks everybody again for joining in. Sounds like we will need to make them. Megan says. Well, first of all, we gotta get a sturgeon.
Right.
Yeah.
No pressure, Jess.
No pressure.
Jessica Munn's got to get one now
Yeah.
so we can sample the
Yep.
recipes.
Yep. So yeah, cool. Thanks for everybody for tuning in again, and we'll be back again Friday morning at 10 o'clock talking about some other cool stuff. So enjoy the rest of your Wednesday.
All right, sounds good. Thank you.
Awesome.